Hi, Samantha. I'm Misty Little, and I want to thank you for agreeing to be interviewed today about the summers of 1936 and 37, the historic heat wave. I'm really excited to talk to you. I'm really excited to have you here. I know that we're in a little bit of a heat wave ourselves right now, but I'm sure it is nothing compared to the heat wave of the 30s.
Thank you for having me, Misty. I'm excited to answer some questions.
All right, well, I'm ready to get started. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, I think that the very first thing I want to ask you that I really want to know is when you think back on those summers, what is the very first thing that comes to mind that the very first thing that you can think of, and why is that?
When I think back on those summers, I remember sleeping on the porch. That's the thing that probably stands out the most. The long nights that were still hot, not as hot, but still hot. But I remember sleeping on the porch with my younger sibling and just feeling the breeze as it came under the porch and came up through the cracks and also over top. Like there was nothing like it. It was probably the best thing besides sleeping in a creek.
That sounds like a very interesting way to beat the heat. Um, Back then, with this kind of a heat wave, did people have any idea that this was going to be historic? Because in my research, I read that it was nothing to have 14, 15 straight days of temperatures over 100 degrees. Did you have any idea that you were living in a historical heat wave?
No, ma'am. But back then, when you're in the middle of it, folks aren't thinking about history. They're thinking about keeping babies safe and food from spoiling. I mean, history is something that other people wrote. And at that point, we were just trying to get through each day. We were just surviving.
Oh, I'm sure. You've experienced hot summers since then. What made those summers of 36 and 37 different from every other summer since then?
I was young then, so I don't remember a whole lot, but I do remember Mama and Daddy always saying that it was just the relentless nature of it. No breaks, no real cool nights, and just the heat just pressing down on you constantly. I mean, they had two little ones in the house, and they said that that alone just made it feel that much heavier. It was just no air conditioning. It was just a really heavy time, which we were also in the throes of the Great Depression too, so you have to keep that in mind.
Since this was really prior to the air conditioning age, what was something that your family did to try to beat the heat?
Shade trees. Shade trees and the creek. Absolutely every single day, Mama was taking us to the creek. And she would just sit with us under the big maple tree, passing the dipper of cool well water around. And she would take these strips of cloth and soak them in water, put them on the back of our necks just to try to keep us cool. But that creek, it was a blessing. I mean, even when we were older, we would still go down there to cool off, even when it wasn't as hot. But it was the trees and the creek that got us through for sure.
So I read in my research that this particular summer even kind of amazed the meteorologists because they couldn't believe that the night temperatures stayed mostly above 91 degrees.
Mhm.
And it really made a lot of people have to reconsider their sleeping arrangements. Did you all have anything interesting as far as sleeping arrangements? What do you remember about those nights?
I remember them just being hot and sticky. And Mama would try her best to keep us cool. She would carry us out onto the porch so we would at least be in the night air. And if there was a breeze, we wouldn't miss it. I mean, we would be there for it. And then my little brother, always right there beside me, um, we would just sleep out there. I mean, there was nothing else we could really do because it was just hot. I mean, inside it's hot, outside it's hot. So, but outside it's a few degrees cooler, so that's where we wanted to be. At
Got
least
to
in the
do,
nighttime, it was cooler.
got to do what you got to do, right?
Yep.
All right. I have one final question I'd like to ask you. And if I could go back to those summers and spend a day with your family, what would that look like?
You'd see Mama moving real slow in that heat and just trying to keep her two little boys as cool as she could. Daddy, he'd be sitting underneath the shade tree, just whittling and watching the horizon for any sign of rain he could see. You just hear babies fussing, and I'm sure, yeah, it was just hot, and I mean, everybody was quiet most of the time. It was just quiet because nobody wanted to, I guess, talk for more hot air being in the house. It was just slow back then, really slow.
Well, thank you, Samantha, for your time today. I appreciate you talking to me and taking a trip back to the summers of 1936 and 37. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.